What's up, guys? Urban Acolyte TV. This is Prince, and I had to sit down and think about something, right? I got this whole Star Wars Jedi motif going on this channel, but I don't actually talk about Star Wars stuff. So I'm in the next year, 2016, we're going to do something about that. And I'm going to start with this video, right? So these are my predictions for Star Wars Episode 7, which is hitting theaters in 4 days, and I have my ticket. Can't wait, right? So there won't be really any spoilers, I don't think. And if you watch like the Jedi Council on the Collider Movies channel and Emergency Awesome, they'll like fill you in on all kinds of stuff that goes way above and beyond what I want to do with my Star Wars videos, right? I'm still doing the whole Urban Acolyte thing. I just want to incorporate some Star Wars because I like Star Wars, and everything that we do is to become a real life Jedi, right? So Episode 7 predictions. I'm just gonna run down based on the covers that were in Empire magazine. So we got this guy played by John Boyega named Finn, right? And Finn, what we understand is he's a clone. Sorry, not a clone trooper. He's a stormtrooper who defects. Right? For some reason he leaves the First Order, who the Empire is gone. You know, Luke Skywalker, the rebels took them down, and they have fractured, right? And so this one iteration of the remnants of the Empire is the First Order, and Finn is a member. And if you watch Star Wars Rebels, this is a lot of people are like, well, where does Finn come from? What's his story? In season 1, Ezra Bridger, who's a Force sensitive, training to become a Jedi on Rebels, befriends I'll say a brown or black person. We don't really know the kid's race, but he makes friends with this kid at the Imperial Academy. And that kid says that his sister was taken by the Inquisitors, right? So this kid has a Force sensitive sister. And I think that Finn is related to this girl who becomes an Inquisitor, right? I just said, well, there's black and the kid is black, and maybe somehow Finn is related to them because obviously they've got Force sensitivity in their family line, right? So that's kind of my prediction for Finn, is that I think he's tied into this character from Rebels. We'll have to wait and find out. All right, so next we've got Poe Dameron, who's like the ace pilot. If we want to call him the Han Solo figure or archetype, he's not a smuggler. He's like a pilot for the rebellion. He's the guy that's not like the Jedi guy who's the hero, the everyday person's hero, right? Someone that people can relate to, that maybe they're not interested in the whole Jedi and Force sensitive thing, right? A man of action. Of course, we do have Han and his homeboy Chewie. Like I said, if you've never seen the movies, Chewie is a Wookiee. He's from the planet Kashyyyk, where the Wookiees come from, or Kashyyyk. And Chewie basically owes Han a life debt, right? Within the culture of the Wookiees, right? If for some reason you saved their life for something, they pledge their life to you, right? And yeah, it kind of sounds like it sucks, but the Wookiees are a very long-lived species. So, we look at Chewie 30 years from Return of the Jedi. Chewie hadn't missed a beat, appears to not have aged, right? In Chewie's case, he may have just now be coming into his adulthood, right? Because Chewie was even in Chewie is in scenes with Yoda in Revenge of the Sith, right? Which is cool. It's a pretty cool tie-in, right? So I think I'm just gonna go down the heroes, right? So the next person of interest is Rey, right? And what are the thoughts that everyone seems to have right now is that Rey is a Skywalker, right? She's either Luke's daughter or possibly Han and Leia's daughter, and There's a fear that, or I guess if Leia and Luke are both force sensitive, they can detect that their child is force sensitive as well. And so she's been hidden. This is what people think, is she was hidden on the planet Jakku, in the same way that Luke and Leia were separated and hidden and raised by surrogate families, right? So that Anakin, or Darth Vader and the Emperor, Anakin and the Emperor, could not find them, or would not know to look for, them, because there's the whole risk of, if they're strong in the Force as Anakin was, then they could topple the Empire. And so it's like, we got to wait until they grow up so that they can be trained to be Jedi and take down the Empire. And that's what happens. Luke, we see, takes the path of the Jedi, and he's the hero. Leia, we don't know if she ever is trained in the Force, but what we believe, because in The Force Awakens, 30 years later, she is no longer Princess Leia. She is General Organa, like General Leia Organa, right? And this cool thing, they talked about it on the Collider videos, is they believe that Leia's a Jedi. Maybe not a Jedi in the robes and everything, but her role is not to be running around swinging a lightsaber, but to use battle meditation, the same skill that Bastila Shan has in Knights of the Old Republic, the video game, and that Satele Shan, her descendant, has in Star Wars, The Old Republic, right? If you get into the EU, there were Sith Lords who also possessed this battle meditation ability. But basically, a person with battle meditation, they meditate during a battle, as battle meditation implies, and they increase the morale of their side and take away the will to fight, or maybe the people on the other side of the battle experience brain fog, right? If you've ever experienced that, where you're in a haze and you can't think straight, and these other people are just, everyone's in union and in sync, and they have this advantage, a clear advantage in battle, right? So I didn't really say much about Rey, but we don't know much about Rey, other than she's a scavenger on the planet Jakku, and up until the events, whatever events happen to her to cause her to have to leave Jakku, she encounters Finn, right? She's really feels like a no one. I'm just a scavenger, and I live this life of solitude, and I'm scraping to get by, right? It's very similar to Luke's story when we find him on Tatooine, where he's working for Aunt Beru and Uncle Lars, or Owen Lars, or whatever, and he's freaking a moisture farmer, and he's like, this sucks, right? I want to go on an adventure. I want to go off to the Imperial Academy and become a pilot, right? And well, unfortunately, Uncle and Aunt get burned to death by stormtroopers, and Luke finds out that this old weird ass hermit who checks in on him from time to time knew his father, fought in the Clone Wars and the Jedi, and gives him his father's lightsaber, and the rest is obviously history, right? So let's get to the First Order people, right? So Captain Phasma, a lot of interest around Captain Phasma. She's like this chrome wearing stormtrooper with a big gun and a cape, right? And she looks badass. I've heard people say that they believe Captain Phasma is also Force sensitive. I'm gonna go out on a limb. This is a crazy ass prediction. This is all me. So J.J. Abrams may not have done this. So if you watch the movies on Thursday or Friday, whenever, and you're like, Prince, you got that wrong, this is just me. For some reason, I think that Captain Phasma is somehow tied to Obi-Wan, right? We know that Obi-Wan and Duchess Satine had this romantic relationship. We don't know if it was ever physical. I read somewhere that Obi-Wan at some point had a relationship with someone, and either the relationship ended or his paramour died, and he almost fell to the dark side. Now, what we know from the Clone Wars is that during the Clone Wars, Obi-Wan is obviously in love with the Duchess Satine, and Darth Maul, who somehow returns, kills her, right? And to make him suffer, because it's like, this is the way we want to break you, right? And so we don't know if they ever, but I for some reason, I think if Captain Phasma is somehow if she is somehow force sensitive, I think there's a connection to Obi-Wan. Now, I think someone, maybe the actress who plays Captain Phasma, I can't think of her name off the top of my head, but she's in Game of Thrones. She described herself as the Boba Fett of the new series, the new movies, right? And so there's a possibility that maybe she was saying, well, yeah, she's like the new Boba Fett. Maybe she's like Boba Fett's daughter if he somehow managed to get out of that freaking sandworm on Tatooine. Boba Fett, or maybe Boba had some maybe Boba got his rocks on as a bounty hunter, spreading his seed all over the universe or the galaxy, looking for Han, and he got him some nub in all the wrong places. That's a buckwheat reference. So who am I left with? All right, let's talk about Adam Driver's character, Kylo Ren. Kylo Ren is definitely not Luke Skywalker. Definitely not Luke Skywalker, right? It's Adam Driver. The dude is like 6'5", and Luke Skywalker, Mark Hamill, is probably my height or shorter. He might be 5'5", and I'm 5'7", right? So you already got a foot difference, right? So Kylo Ren, we have no idea who he is. People believe that he is also a Skywalker. You know what? I'm one of those people, I don't think he's a Skywalker at all. I think he is enamored with Darth Vader. I don't think, because if he's a Skywalker and maybe he knows that he's a Skywalker, like, it's possible through the Force he can sense some connection to Anakin. And that would be cool, especially since it appears that Hayden Christensen is going to be in Episode 8. The actor who plays Anakin Skywalker in the prequel trilogies. But we know that there are other Jedi out there, other Force-sensitive people who undergo Jedi training. So this is another one of my crazy predictions. I'm going to go out on a limb. I think Kylo Ren of the Knights of Ren has some connection to Ezra Bridges. Just like I think Finn has a connection to Ezra Bridges. I think that Ezra is going to fall to the dark side at some point because of the loss of his family. And maybe he starts the Knights of Ren. Maybe he comes across, this is another crazy place that Prince is going to go. But you heard it here. Maybe Ezra somehow finds a holocron from Darth Revan and secretly starts the Knights of Ren, like this secret society of Force sensitives. And this is why you don't hear about Ezra or Kanan or any of the rebels during the original trilogy, right? Is because Ezra's fallen to the dark side. He's off in unexplored space, starting the Knights of Ren, and somehow they resurface, right? But that's crazy. Maybe it can never happen, but I'm just putting it out there. So this is my predictions for Episode 7, and that's all I've got. So check out these other videos if you want. And hopefully I get some more Star Wars stuff up here while I'm on break. So this is Prince, Urban Acolyte TV. Y'all keep on breathing. Talk to y'all another time. Bye.